going to be in the way.
And now, here are the biggest.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready? And now, the W with Walls and the crew. Good morning. Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM. Good morning. And Facebook Live.
Today. Meteorologist Steve. Yeah, you didn't know I had meteorologists in my background?
Double duty.
That's right. How is everyone's week?
It's good.
Starting with me, man, working. AAU season is just finishing up, wrapping up. The live period just wrapped up, so I've been pretty busy, getting the kids ready for school ball and trying to tighten up some of the stuff that they need to work on. So I've been pretty busy. So I'm liking it. I'm not complaining at all.
So do the kids test you? Like, do they be like, you don't have it anymore?
Of course.
Okay.
All the time. You know what I got to do to them.
Okay. I just want to
show them that I got it. Because I was telling one of my friends the other day, I told him, I said, the kids ain't going to listen to you if you know what I'm saying, if you can't do it.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. So it's always the boys too. I can beat you, man, No. They know better now, though.
Jazz, how was your week?
Good, same. Working, busy. It was definitely warm outside, speaking of the weather. So I didn't get to get out to the pool this week. That's usually my routine, but I had to stay inside.
But it was cooler than this week than last week, though. Last week it hit about 100. Just being out at Chiefs camp, I was sitting there sweating like, this can't be life.
Yeah, you got a little tan on you, too.
I do. Yeah. See, I've been tanning a little bit.
I see.
Q, how about you, man?
Regular week for me.
Yeah.
A lot of up-down nightlife stuff.
What do you guys have coming up?
The app launch coming up really soon.
Okay.
29th.
Heck yeah. It's been a long time coming, man. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Heck yeah. All right, let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
But you know what, though? A lot of people are saying that it's the Lakers have a super team now. And I don't agree. And the reason why I say that is because all of these guys are beyond their prime. I mean, LeBron is what, 36?
Yeah.
Melo's 37, and Westbrook's 31, 32.
Well, they just going off the names.
AD is 30, right? So it's like, come on, man.
Trevor Ariza's like 34.
Yeah. So all these guys are like, so if this was a 2014 Lakers. 2014 LeBron, 2014 Melo.
Scary.
Yeah, I mean they run the table easy.
Yeah, that would be scary. That would definitely be scary. Well, yeah, I think they saying the super team just because of the names that's on the team. You know, the names on the paper.
Yeah,
that's just like last year with Brooklyn. But you got a three-headed monster over there that's not that old.
Yeah,
so it's a little different. Okay, it's a little different.
And
I'm still riding with
speaking
Brooklyn,
of the three-headed monster, they won the gold yesterday.
Yes.
A lot of people were nervous. I know Q was nervous. He's like, man, I don't think they can win.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
It was.
Well, I say they had to get it together. I was staying up late every night just to make sure I could watch it. I feel like they bought into the defensive side of of it. Got to realize, man, that it makes you realize that basketball, the greatness of basketball all over the world. It's just not a wash anymore. We got to make sure we pick the right players, to be able to go out and compete against those guys, because a lot of those foreign players, they play in the NBA. Like France, for example, they got 8 players that play in the league.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not as easy as it used to be. That's for sure.
But I said it was because when you think about the dream team, and when you think about even that, 2014 Olympic team, or was it 2016? 2016 Olympic team. They had some guys that were not going to lose, and you knew it was. They had, whether it was Kobe, whether it was Magic, MJ, those guys would, if it was guys out there that were playing and saying, hey, we just going through the motions, they're going to let you know.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I didn't see that from this team, when they lost those 2 games and when they were playing out in Vegas.
I don't see that in the NBA now.
Well, true.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's like when you guys are like friends, they don't hold each other accountable anymore, because, a lot of people nowadays in the league are thin-skinned, in my opinion.
Like KD,
you say one thing and then it's like, oh my God, the end of the world. But I think you're definitely right about that.
For sure.
Guys like MJ, Larry Bird, and all those guys, they competed at practice.
Yeah.
Y'all seen those videos when they were talking smack at practice and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely not the same anymore.
For sure.
Now, Chris Paul partners with Basketball Hall of Fame for 4-team HBCU tournament. The Phoenix Suns guard is continuing to put the spotlight on historically black colleges and universities with the arrival of a new college basketball tournament. He's partnering in the development of Chris Paul HBCU tip-off on November 22nd and 23rd at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. Q, what are your thoughts?
It's big. It's huge. It's another one of those, spots you have to fill to not only bring recognition to HBCUs, but it actually gives kids something to see on TV. It gives kids something to actually put their eyes on. You could say HBCU till you're blue in the face,
right?
And you not really understand. And it was similar to me. I knew nothing about HBCUs till I was about 11 or 12. And then I found out about Southern and Grambling in the Bayou Classic. So again, it adds another light to HBCUs, and not only the importance of those colleges, but also an importance of community when you get to those campuses.
But my thoughts on it is we live in the Midwest. There's one HBCU, and it's down in Jefferson City, LU, right? And I think it's just because in Oklahoma, right? Yeah. So
Langston.
Those schools just aren't in the forefront of kids in the Midwest. Like, you don't have like you're in the South or Europe on the East Coast. You just don't have those, and I think that's the reason why these kids aren't really choosing HBCUs, because they just don't know.
Yeah, they don't know, and then these schools are intentionally kept away from the resources.
True.
So then you have, guys like Chris Paul. You have Michael B. Jordan, stepping in to really add to the conversation, and adding to that conversation are these tournaments to bring some of that that media access to these kids, not only just the kids, but the programs and the schools themselves.
True. I agree.
And I know we talked about it earlier in the year with football and having more attraction on there, and they didn't have a whole lot of attention when it came to recruiting. So I'd like to see this as another opportunity, like bringing more attention to them on opportunities that they might have missed out on with COVID this year, and not being those bigger schools that could accommodate and make something happen and make different, showcases or whatever they did to get those players on the map. I'm glad to see that these players are having an opportunity to be on the map too.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Sydney McLaughlin breaks her world record to win 400-meter hurdles. American Delilah Muhammad also breaking the world record en route to silver medal. She ran a 51.46 to break her previous mark of 51.90. Muhammad ran in 51.58.
That's crazy. Is that fast? I'm
Nuts.
not a track person, but
Nuts.
is that fast?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Nuts. I know the biggest thing that they were talking about with Sydney was she can jump with both legs. So you know how usually hurdlers have a dominant leg that they count their steps in between, and then they always have to hit that same leg. But they're saying that she can maintain her pace because regardless, she can hop over with each leg.
Go with either leg.
Yeah, either way.
Nuts?
And I mean, one time around the track with hurdles, that's.
I could not go over one hurdle like that if I tried. Like, I never was like a runner. I couldn't just run for fun. Like, that's not fun to me at all.
I used to hate running in practice.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, they asked us to come out to play, run track. I'm like, man, that's just track practice is just all running.
All running. No.
Like, no, thank you.
And I played the sport that ran the most.
Soccer. Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's nonstop.
And I hated it. I'm like,
nonstop.
I can't stand long distance. I'm definitely a sprinter, short distance. But then how did I end up playing soccer?
Yeah.
How much sense that makes?
The cool thing about
good.
What'd you say?
Were you good?
I would like to say.
Okay.
I would like to think.
That's why you was playing.
You know what? Peyton came home from summer school. What was it? Back in June, and he's out of the blue. He's like, I want to play soccer. I said, wait a minute, what? He said, I want to play soccer, and I'm like, okay, all right. He said, I said, well, what position do you want to play? He's like, well, I want to play goalie because they don't have to run. I said, I think that's where you're wrong. You still have to run as a goalie.
For
sure.
Yeah.
I know in college when we did our fitness testing and everything, goalkeepers were still involved. So they still had to do all the testing and everything, be in shape, because we used them as an extra defender. So they basically played as additional players.
Peyton wants to be a kicker.
Basically.
Hey, we'll be there. Good luck to him. Now, the NFL Players Association is to ask the NFL for increased COVID-19 testing of vaccinated players and staffers. Steve, we'll start with you.
It's crazy because you have a lot of players. I think there was a report that came out that said it was either 8 or 10 teams are in the 90 percentile of people that are vaccinated on these squads. And so I believe there was 4 teams, and the Chiefs were one, that are in the 95th percentile of like people that are vaccinated, of everybody being vaccinated on the squad. So now I believe they're trying to take it seriously, and you're still going to have those. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of these guys are young, first time, millionaires in their family, 23, 24-year-olds, and it's going to be hard to keep them at home. I mean, right now they're in camp, but it's going to be hard to keep them at home and not doing much, the ones that aren't vaccinated.
No, definitely. And the writing was on the wall, even when we were in Tampa for Super Bowl. A lot of the COVID restrictions were not necessarily as tight, but they still had mask mandates, especially for the different NFL events that went on that weekend. So when you look at now pushing forward towards the season, and you have a couple of weeks that caused a lot of confusion, like things had to be moved around. And teams, also the league doesn't want to lose that money,
right?
So again, we talk about the bottom line, and if this vaccine is going to be something that saves them money, saves them from having to quarantine whole teams, for 2 weeks, it especially when it's a Saturday and they get an outbreak and now you have to cancel the game. Push that back, move things around. They want
it's going to be a forfeit now.
Yeah, what about, so again, there's a lot tighter restrictions, yes, that you have to look at, and if you want to be a part of this league, and pretty soon it's going to be life altogether.
Right.
If you want to go anywhere, you've got to be vaccinated.
What about the people that's fully vaccinated and still testing positive?
That it doesn't matter because it's not as deadly. So again, you look at cases where certain players were really affected,
Mhm.
and they didn't feel good well into like
Mhm.
week 10, 11, and 12 months after they've had it, then it looks very different when you have a vaccine. And for a lot of these players, I'm sure some of them don't want to get it. But
Yeah,
I mean, what
that's
options
the
do you
next
have?
thing. Yeah.
You didn't have an option to get what was it, the chickenpox vaccine? There was the
Yeah.
polio vaccine. Like
Yeah.
everyone's been vaccinated.
Couldn't go to school without
At-
having a vaccine.
Yeah,
vaccination.
at some point. So it just and when you start looking at players that use creatine and a lot of these different supplements that they don't know what's in them, you know, it just wouldn't make sense to not get a vaccine, and you are a player that travels from city to city weekly. So
Yeah. Now, I know it's about health and keeping people safe and everything, but for those players that maybe got vaccinated so that they didn't have to deal with the consequences, they didn't have to have different locker rooms and weight rooms and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that there's going to be pushback from those players who are still going to have to go through all these hoops and steps, even though they got vaccinated?
Yeah, I think so. Because like Lamar Jackson, for instance, now it hasn't been said if he's been vaccinated. He returned to practice this morning, actually, after being away from the team since July 27th, I believe. And so Lamar, if you guys remember, he tested positive for COVID last year. He missed 2 or 3 games. And so he we didn't know if he got the vaccination yet this year, but he tested positive again. So now it's like, if I'm still going to get it and I'm still going to be away from the team and miss games, then what's the point? So
yeah, definitely hurts that bottom line again.
Yeah.
Also hurts pockets though if you miss a game check. So
For sure.
Now, Pac-12 and Big 12 commissioners are considering alliances.
It's interesting. It really is. And I say that because it's all about money.
Yeah.
Now you have Texas and OU, and we talk about them later in the show. But when these schools leave the Big 12, who besides KU, like what other team? I know there's some K-State fans,
They
but
was the co-founders.
yes, they were. There's going to be here's the deal. The SEC is going to be they're going to have like their own miniature bubble, and I see this coming within the next like 3 or 4 years. They're going to be like the mini NFL when it comes to football.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're going to be the pipeline that sends guys straight to the league, and then you're going to have these other remaining schools, and I don't think there's going to continue to be like a Division I or NAIA. There's just going to be just college. That's it.
And I mean, you still have Big Ten and ACC schools that are really attractive
in basketball, not football.
Clemson.
I mean, yeah, Clemson. You have North Carolina State,
Florida State.
Do we have to keep going down the list?
But the SEC though is like
they the big dogs.
Yeah. The SEC is definitely the shining example. But again, when you look at competition, when you look at guys that want to play, we've talked about it in basketball where these mid majors come up because guys like Chris Paul, guys like a Damian Lillard go to these smaller schools and then come out and their talent takes over.
Yeah.
Right.
So again, you look at football. Yeah, there are a lot of guys that want to go to these SEC programs, and then you look at the recruitment. You have a lot more. Student body in these schools, but then you have a location. It's tough for a KU or a K-State to recruit these players because their schools are in the middle of nothing.
Right.
You go to an Alabama school or a Mississippi school, you're not far from a New Orleans. You're not far from an Atlanta. You're not very far from a Florida in some cases.
You mean Kansas City isn't attractive?
No.
Go on,
No. Kansas City is a flyover country.
Not anymore.
And
I think it's more attractive. Kansas City is more attractive now.
Kansas City is definitely more attractive now because we are on the lower end of living expense. Like what it costs the cost of living here definitely is a lot lower, but in the next 2 to 3 years, that's not even going to be a reality. So again, you look at in the Midwest, far away from everything.
Yeah.
When you look at what social events, when you look at nightlife, when you look at a lot of these things, yes, players don't want to be in Manhattan, Kansas. No, they don't want to be in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Heck yeah.
No, they don't. And even Oklahoma's a bit more attractive because it's closer to Dallas and Houston.
And you mentioned that though, a guy right here that had KU, Mizzou, and chose to go to USC. You know, like
so
in California.
As soon as I got off the plane, I said, "Mom, I'm going here."
Yeah, and
it was January. It was about 85 degrees outside. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go here.
And it is definitely more attractive when you look at these young players that have a lot bigger aspirations. When I'm looking at LeBron's brand, it definitely grew in Miami.
Yeah,
it seemed like it was stifled a bit in Cleveland, but he still won championships.
Right.
But then when you look at the brand of LeBron that's in LA, LeBron has a barbershop talk show. LeBron is in Space Jam. You look at all of these upwardly mobile moves, and people don't look at the Midwest as that. People look at the Midwest as a place to retire, as a place to
raise your kids.
It's not a place where you're looking at all the Hollywoods and the Miamis, and I mean even the New York. So there has to be a shift in culture, and being able to shift the culture in the Midwest is the toughest thing.
And I think especially now that players are being able to get paid, and we were talking about those partnerships and things like that, you could go out to California. Could you imagine the different sponsorships and partnerships that you're getting versus being here? And even with the difference in cost of living, if you're making more money out there and you're sending that back home, your family's living nice here in Kansas City, and you're just out there bringing it in.
We need to choose us a player to have an NIL deal with.
And I mean, look, look
we do.
Look
I'm
at
about to get back in shape.
look at Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes owns a piece of almost every sporting franchise here. Does he own any parts of a South Suburban football team? Because it seems like he owns everything here. I mean, talking about NBA, talking about women's soccer. Like, you have all these things, but how attractive is that to the next young player? It probably is attractive in somewhat, but would I rather own a team, or would I rather be on Space Jam? And so that's
I mean, for us, because we know better, we'd rather own a team. But for young people, they'd rather be in Space Jam.
Exactly.
Now we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll continue our top headlines discussion, starting with the investigation into gender disparities, finds that the NCAA significantly undervalues women's basketball. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, and I'll be seeing you.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Our show. Use hashtag talk about it, message us, and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. Now, the investigation into gender disparities finds NCAA significantly undervalues women's basketball. The report comes after social media posts outline the differences between the treatment of athletes at the men's and women's NCAA tournaments, with teams at the men's tournament given better food, workout areas, recreation space, gifts compared to their counterparts. All I have to say is about time. I think we knew this was coming. It's been pending.
Yeah.
Even the initial weight room thing that we had saw a couple months ago, we talked about on here. I think it's been glaring, and it's one of those things that they just kind of turned their heads or acted like, oh, I have an excuse for this, or this and this is why there wasn't enough room in the weight room, or there wasn't enough room in that section to accommodate them. But it's like, come on now.
Absolutely.
And they got fixed in 12 hours.
Facts.
Yeah, that means that it should have never been like that. I'm a huge advocate for women's sports. I watch, college softball. I watch, of course, I watch women's college basketball, WNBA. I mean, I watch it like I watch it, like I watch the NBA or the NCAA tournament. I'm happy. I'm happy that they actually bringing this, to the forefront, because that was just ridiculous. Do you guys remember last year in the tournament that when they had those pictures and they were showing all the little gift packages that the men's team were getting, and then they had a water bottle and a whistle and a t-shirt for the women's side, and I just thought that was just unfair. Now I get it. The NCAA men's going to bring a lot more money to, it's going to generate a lot more money, but at the same time, come on, they have plenty of money. They should be able to get the women the same thing. I feel like it should be equal. I mean, they played hard just as much as the men do. They practice hard as the men do. They go to class and they put in the work, and I feel like they should be, compensated for the work that they put in.
Yeah,
and it was just jacked up that they had to do that and got to go through that.
And when you say that the men's game makes more, it's because they put a lot more marketing dollars behind that.
Yep.
So again, when you look at the outreach towards young boys, it is definitely a lot more than it is girls. But then again, you look at the top of leadership. There are no women in leadership. When you look at the NCAA, there's a lot of different disparities, and I'm starting to think when we look at the disparities, whether it's gender or racial, whoever's paying for these investigations and for these research topics, like it just seems like they're basically embezzling money. Like, why do we need these different levels of research and investigation for things that we already know, things that are very glaring, and it's all just fodder. It's nothing. It's all, it's headlines. We're going to put this out. Hey, we investigated ourselves and we found that we are okay, but what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And with the NCAA, it's taken them so long to roll out these different things. And instead of implementing sweeping changes across everything that they do, every procedure that they have, instead of doing that, they want to waste money on these investigations instead of saying, yeah, hey, my bad. But then again, somebody has to fall on the sword, and who wants to fall on the sword for that?
Right.
And that's why we have these entities that are nameless and faceless.
But here's the deal, though. It's gonna have to take a guy like, for instance, LeBron, or I mean, somebody like Dwayne Wade, who isn't doing much right now except TV, to be a spokesman for women's basketball.
Or how about the president of the NCAA?
Right.
Like it shouldn't have to take celebrity.
No, I'm talking about just for it to be cool to watch or cool to go to a game. Nobody's going to care about the president of the NCAA saying, I'm talking about somebody that has the influence, someone who has, young people, older people, whoever. It's like, all right, you guys need to start watching this. I'm bringing it to the forefront. I'm making it cool for everybody to go to the games and watch it.
Where you see Damian Lillard supports a lot, Chris Paul, Bron, Melo.
But they don't do it enough.
They go. It's not enough, but they're there. Also, they made sure that that they were going to make sure that they were at every women's game in the Olympics, making sure they show support that way. But man, I agree. Somebody has to step up.
And that somebody needs to be somebody in the front office of the NCAA. It shouldn't be the guys that you are using to make your money and your multi-generational wealth. And these guys still be the face of it. I need to see something from the CEO, the CFO of the NCAA. I need to see something from the president. I need to see more from them. I don't need to see more from the labor.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do anything in those offices but collect checks.
But here's the deal though. When you let's just say they do step up, and let's just say they do put more money toward advertising or more money towards that's making it cool.
That's influential change.
But here what's gonna make a young 14, 15-year-old want to watch women's basketball?
Well, because it starts from the top down. You can't go from the bottom rung. Mm-hmm. You can't start there. Like it has to start when all of these very wealthy white men talk about trickle down economics. It's the same thing when you look at influence. It's the money that influences everything, and it comes from the top. And you can't put the onus on the labor. So.
And I think we can have as many influencers as we want, influential people, but if that person in the head office isn't signing off on it,
it don't mean nothing.
It doesn't mean anything.
We're talking about NCAA basketball. We're not talking about players.
and to be honest with you, women's sports is really they're making a huge leap.
Yeah.
You got girls dunking the basketball like it ain't nothing. Mm-hmm. Normally it was like one or two everyone, but now it's like high school girls and
it's the McDonald's, man. It's the McDonald's. I'm telling you.
They eat their Wheaties.
It's the McDonald's. I'm telling you.
Yeah, because we're talking about an investigation into the NCAA and their gender disparities. We're not talking about the investigation into LeBron and Chris Paul and their gender disparities. Yeah. They don't need to do anything. They've done enough.
Got you.
Facts. Now, former Chiefs wide receiver Sammy Watkins says he plans to have one of his best years this upcoming season in Baltimore.
Come on, Sammy.
Let's hear it.
You said that like you
Come
sad.
on, Sammy. No, I'm not sad. I'm just
you sad and mad.
Here's the thing. When I heard what Sammy had to say, he was interviewed by someone that was, I think it was like Fox Sports or whatever. But Sammy, the question was like, Sammy, you're here in Baltimore. What happened when you were in Kansas City? And Sammy's response was, hey, I played my role when I was in Kansas City. I knew it was Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill's team, and I just played my role. I don't feel like he played a role. It was more of he couldn't stay healthy enough to be on the field. And so if you're not healthy enough to be on the field, of course it's going to be Travis Kelce's team. Of course it's going to be Tyreek Hill's team. And the numbers showed that when Sammy Watkins was healthy, that he was the team played better. Like the numbers show it. And then when he went down, it was like, all right, now they can double team Tyreek Hill. Now they can try to take away Travis Kelce because no one else was there to step up.
Yeah, definitely. But this is one of those, when it comes to preseason, no matter if you're playing baseball, basketball, football, soccer, what does a coach say? Hey, I think this is the best team I've ever coached. This is we've taken a step up from last year. Yeah. Everybody does that. It's to add excitement. It's to add to the conversation. And yes, Sammy, people probably do have questions because he came from being a number one in Buffalo. And I forget where he went after Buffalo, but he was always the main guy. But like you said, injuries, he couldn't stay on the field, and that's why he wasn't the number one. But then you look at a team like this that has the firepower. Yes, you weren't the main option. Yes, you can't stay on the field. He probably played, if we're comparing him to the snaps that Tyreek Hill and the snaps that Travis Kelce got, he's probably a third of that. And that's because he couldn't stay on the field and he couldn't stay healthy. But this is just bulletin board material. And I love it because
I bet you do.
I love it because it takes away the mystique of what the Chiefs are. Like everybody thinks that these players come in to play for the Hunt family, and they think that it's just everything is all peaches and cream and it's candy land, and I can have whatever I want when I go to the Chiefs. But when you ask a Tony Gonzalez, he has a very sour taste in his mouth.
That was a totally different regime, though.
Totally different regime under the coaches, but I said ownership. I didn't say any. I didn't say. I said nothing about the coaches. I'm talking about the Hunts, the front office. When you talk to Marcus Peters probably has nothing nice to say about them, especially after he was kneeling, and then 2 seasons later they say, "Oh, hey, let's end racism."
But Marcus Peters did that on himself. He brought that on himself, though. That's totally different than what.
No, it's not.
He's gonna defend them all the way.
I'm not gonna defend them, man.
He's gonna.
Breland ain't got nothing good to say.
There's Rashad Breeland?
Yeah.
Man, come on. His play. Yeah. His play. That's all I'm gonna say is his play.
Yeah, and then there's also
LJ.
There's also a running back. There's a running back, a very recent running back by the name of Le'Veon Bell that had nothing nice to say about Andy Reid. And again, it starts from the top. Mm-hmm. And when you have such a performative front office that the things that they say and that they put out there in the media is not what happens in the locker room. And there are a lot of players that are coming out trying to say they're saying they're leaving these little breadcrumbs, these little caveats, but instead of listening, it must be the player. It must be.
And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. Here's one prime example.
He got that cape out the cleaners this morning.
Here's one prime example though. Marcus, I can't remember what the game was, but the Chiefs lost, and Marcus Peters was coming through, the locker room or whatnot, passing the media, and he's laughing. Like everyone's taking it serious, but he's laughing as he's going to. And I know sometimes that's people's defense mechanism or whatever, but he's laughing the whole time.
What does that mean?
And then he goes on and say he's being interviewed by media, and they ask him, "Well, what are you, man? I ain't worried about this. Blank, blank, blank. I'm going to go get loaded." Like you can't do that.
So
and people are paying you millions of dollars, and you want to say that in front of. How does that make you look?
And so for the Chiefs organization, is there like some kind of policy in place that you have to be down, sad, and mad after a loss? Like no,
that's just a competitive spirit of any normal athlete.
So how do you
know he wasn't mad?
Exactly
laughing? Come on, man.
I laugh when I'm mad a lot.
He just said defense mechanism.
Not after you lose.
He answered his own question.
Laughing right now. You mad?
He's mad.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. But back to Sammy though. I think this is just like one of those things. If he would have been healthy, he was one of the main options. It wasn't just always Tyreek Hill. Tyreek, you know what Tyreek Hill does best. The go route, the deep post. That's just what he does. And Sammy was a guy that you could count on when he was healthy. Mm-hmm. And here's another thing about that. He understood that all egos go out the window. Mm-hmm. When you step into that Chiefs locker room, and Travis Kelce said it, Patrick said it, all the egos are gone. And he understood that. So that's why he's saying he played the role. Now, on top of that, what he's saying being in Baltimore is like, hey, I'm gonna be the man here, and I expect to have most of the touches.
All he had to say was, I wasn't 100% healthy. I feel good now. I feel good now. I'm ready to have a great year.
Thank you. That's it.
And who does that in football? Because flip it on its head and say it's Patrick Mahomes, and Steve is like, oh, I hate that he's so PC. I hate that he does this. I hate that he. So again, like Steve doesn't even know what he's defending. He just knows that it's that red and yellow.
He's gonna defend them.
I'm not defending him.
And
it's not defending him.
It's the same color as his cape. And I mean, hopefully the cleaners did well by that cape. Did they iron it?
Oh yeah, it's iron. It's crisp. It's crisp and clean.
Now, Sammy, confidence is key. Steve, confidence is key.
That's right.
Go Chiefs. Now, UConn star Paige Bueckers files Paige Bucket's trademark application.
That's dope.
It is.
For sure.
No, that's definitely dope, because if you look at the NCAA, she had to do that before the NCAA or the WNBA took it, and trademarked it themselves. And so it's good for her, because it also shows other players that yes, you can trademark. And then we look at Anthony Davis, trademark the brow. Mm-hmm. You look at the LeBron and his many trademarks, and
he tried to trademark
Taco Tuesday. Yeah,
I mean, but people made it a thing though.
Yeah,
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. So yeah, she's doing the right thing, especially for her own personal brand. Because these leagues don't care about them as players.
They don't.
Well, now you can trademark anything. They paying college players. I said, man, I came up in the wrong time.
Mm-hmm. Seriously, that was on, like, and we talked about it before. Was it the booster that owns the gyms down in Miami, and he's going to give every football player on University of Miami $500 a month just to come and work out at his gym. Every from player 1 to player however many is on that squad.
Miami
$500. That $500 in college goes a long way.
Got some folks on them Miami football teams.
$500
a month. I don't know. I don't even need that.
I'm working out every day, no days off.
That's another one of your ACC schools too, right there for you.
Yeah, but they've been trash. They haven't been good. I mean, they produce some NFL athletes, but they can't put it together. Like
exactly. Like who
everybody knows about you, but
there's really nothing to brag about in college football outside of the Heisman Trophy. Like even national championships, like, yeah, hey, we won that. Ha ha. But normally the best players aren't in the league, aren't even from either team that plays in the national championship. So, you know.
We're going to talk about them Heisman trophies. Because
you still think Reggie Bush?
Yeah. It man stuff back. One of the best college football players ever.
Facts.
That's another day for another day.
We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hater or Love It segment and kick it off with our Sneakers of the Week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same 2 front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
From the moments that shape our...
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Right back here on the W Show, we're broadcasting live, continuing our Barber Beauty Salon tour. Right here at 63rd Street, the Clean Edge Salon and Barbershop. We have the owner of the Clean Edge, Charles Brown. What's going on, man?
Hey, what up?
Man, we appreciate you having us out here at your shop, man. Talk about your location here in Raytown.
With first, the address is 10010 East 63rd Street, the middle of downtown Raytown. I got a dope stylist, a dope barber in here working with me, Adam Fields and Crystal Brown. So Booksy, check us out. A Clean Edge, Instagram, check us out.
You also have something dope across the street too. Talk about that.
I have a gym across the street, literally right across the street. It's called Slim Charlie's Fitness, and we've been rocking for 4 months now.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool. And how long have you been a barber here at this location?
11 years.
11 years.
Yeah.
That's man.
Yeah.
Have you done a job for 11 years?
Yeah, I've been a DJ. It'll be 17 years in October.
That's a long time. That's a long time. That means you're getting old.
Yeah, no, definitely old. Definitely old. Talk about your barbershop and this location. I mean, you almost have it like a home feel.
It's a real home feel. I mean, anybody can come here and get a haircut. From you can bring your kids in here. You can, old people can come in, white, black, Chinese, Mexican, whatever. It doesn't matter.
You can take naps in here. Yeah, it was a nice nap going on over there. I was kind of jealous about that.
Yeah, you can hang out, man. I mean, it's a nice, comfortable feel, and you're gonna get jokes. Right? Yeah. So any given time, you might get cracked on too.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, with so many different hairstyles, people wearing their hair every kind of way, man. What's the craziest thing someone's wanting to come in here and get as far as like a haircut?
a messed up haircut.
Really?
A chili bowl. The suits, yeah. We have people come in and ask for the craziest, like DuckTales and not fading their hairs. They
Really?
want to go back to they be wanting to go back to like the 70s and the 80s.
Wow.
Where had a hard lines in their face.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, do you get people to come in and say, I'm gonna show you a picture and this is how I want my hair?
Yep. And then I'll be like, you don't look nothing like him. and you don't have that hair.
Yeah. So hair texture is a big thing.
It's a big,
It is.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, man, if you're going to pick a picture, pick somebody that look close to like you, head symmetry like yours, in the same hair texture.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about the gym across the street. What do you guys got going on at the gym?
The gym across the street, that's my new baby. I mean, it's the gym, and it's the same vibe as my barbershop. So, I mean, like I said, anybody can come to the gym. We just love fixing people and helping people. So we do personal training. It's an open gym. People come in and pay a membership and just come work out. But we're really based off of personal training though.
That's cool. And you've healthy lifestyles, man, and that's what people are into a lot. Right. And just into the healthy lifestyles. Right. And I mean, to be able to promote that and have people come over there and be active, I think that's important because a lot of times now within COVID, a lot of us have been sitting around for a year not doing anything.
Right. Yeah, and there's a lot of people out of shape right now.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but Kansas City's behind in the fitness world. We're so far behind. I do a lot of traveling in Florida and Texas and Atlanta and all them places. Everybody works out. Here in Kansas City, it's hard to get people to the gym.
Yeah, I get it. And I think it's a lot of that. It has to do with just the year-round warmth that those cities have. And here, I mean, once January, February come, it's like, man, I ain't trying to go nowhere.
Yeah, and that's true. That's probably true.
Thanks.
Well, tell people again how they can get in contact with you.
So first, you can get in contact with me on Facebook, The Clean Edge, or Charles Brown. Instagram, Barber Cowboy, or Clean Edge. Slim Charlie's Fitness on both. I'm not about to give you all my number, but yeah.
All right, well, that's Charles Brown. We appreciate you again, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
Definitely.
We're going to take another quick break coming up. We have our Hater 11 second. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small direct club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
From the moments
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Now the Jordan 1 Zion USAs.
I like these. They're the touch of gold that's on the tongue. Then they kind of give you the you got the red, white, and blue, of course, USA feel, but translucent bottom. Yeah, I love these. You know, like
Okay.
I mean, they look like a good, comfortable hoop shoe. No, all right.
Yeah, no, I'm not going.
They look LeBronish.
They do. They really do. I can agree with that.
I sound like a hater, don't I?
You do sound like Steve right now.
Hate it. The New Balance Kawhi Power Source.
I like these too. I like these. Yeah. But honestly, though, like Kawhi with the New Balance deal, other than this colorway, the first ones that he came out with, they're pretty dope. I mean, I wouldn't wear them like, you know how you can wear Jordans, some hoop shoes as regular day to day, but not these.
Ramon's nephew had some, and they was kind of cool.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lead you down the wrong way.
Yes, you will. But
The Nike Air Force One Shadow multicolor, Steve's favorite this week.
I actually do like these. They're not bad, but just
The
Jack,
low
we talked about it. Yeah, we talked about these. Once they have like that velvet kind of corduroy on the tongue. Nah,
you would not wear those nowhere.
Ain't no way.
You know how on Thanksgiving when you take out the trash and like you pull it up and there's like drippings in the bottom? That's what that is. That's the juice in the bottom of the trash can.
Definitely.
No way he's wearing those.
I would.
I can see it with this suit, a pantsuit outfit. Throw those on, pop of color.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about, Jesse.
Not for me, for you.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it, but you got it.
Definitely for you. I love that for you, Steve.
You got it,
Come
Steve.
on, Steve. Don't do that.
All right.
Now, OBJ reportedly spent 1.8 mil on 13 karat diamonds for his teeth. Hate it or love it.
Hate it. Do something else with your money, OBJ.
Why? Why don't Roger Goodell do something else with his money? I love this. Yeah.
You really?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Can you use normal toothpaste with those, you think? That's the first thing that came to
I don't
mind.
know. I never
At
got
what
one of those
toothpaste?
drill things or anything like that. I
Like
never got one.
1 point, what is it? 1.8 million?
1.8?
That's
Well,
a lot
real
of money.
diamonds.
That is a lot of money for some teeth.
That's only 4 of them. Look like 4 or 5, wasn't it?
Yeah. So you mean
No,
tell me?
no, he only has the 2.
Just
just
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's
Oh,
five
he
of
has
them.
them on the other
It's
side.
5 of
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Mm.
What kind of diamonds are those? Like,
They expensive ones.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
If you got it, if
Yeah,
you got it.
Got to
You
spend
got
it,
it.
huh? Now, because you got a lot of rappers that get the grills and all that, but I've never heard anybody putting
Them
$1
rapper
million
stuff
in their
probably
mouth.
ain't real.
Like Wayne. I mean, you got Lil Wayne. Why,
Well,
does he
his
have $1
stuff-
million
yeah,
in his
well,
mouth?
He probably do.
You think so?
Yeah,
I
probably.
mean, maybe close.
Because
You
he made
never
some.
know.
He made. Yeah, he
But
It
then-
probably depends on the kind of jewels you're putting in, how many carats it is, you know.
But Odell Beckham, he's that kind of dude though. Like, cause he wore, what was it, the $1 million watch that he wore during the game?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
He wore the Hugh Blow during the game.
Yeah. So
That's that screw it money.
during the football game.
during a football game, he won
Yeah.
$1 million watch during a football game.
And imagine what that sponsorship check cost.
Sheesh.
Go ahead, OBJ.
Racks on racks on racks.
First game of the
Racks on
season.
racks.
Go
Got
ahead,
racks
shine them
racks
diamonds on there.
racks.
Yeah.
Now, Guy buried a vodka bottle inside Grant Park a week before Lollapalooza and dug it up when he got inside. Hate it or love it.
I love this.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. Here it is right here.
That's why I wanted Timbos. So I knew my shit out here.
Oh my God.
Dig it up.
That's pretty dope. Thoughtful, if you ask me.
Impeccable planning,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
no, definitely.
Saved
big,
a lot of money.
Big broke boy energy. I love it.
Yes, sir.
He spent all his money on his ticket. He had to do something
Nah,
right.
look,
sure.
I get it because
That
the
was
tickets was
smart.
probably around $300
Hi.
You got smart, then you got clever. That was clever and smart.
in a pandemic.
Thinking smarter,
Yes,
not
sir.
harder.
Yeah.
Kansas senator calls for a DOJ investigation into ESPN's role in Texas and Oklahoma's move to SEC.
You salty.
Yeah, it's wasting a lot of taxpayer dollars right here.
Again, we're
Lot
calling,
of taxpayer
calling for
dollars.
investigations and a lot of these things so he can pad his friends' pockets because this means nothing. Like it literally means nothing. And then when you look at a capitalist society, it means nothing. Like
they
this is an empty gesture. This is his way to make it on TV,
Mm-hmm.
to make some sort of headlines, probably to push some re-election campaign or whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
But this has no teeth.
It don't matter because they gone.
Yeah, and they're getting out of here. And he can be as salty as he wants. I mean, I hope he enjoys the Big Ten.
That's funny.
Kansas Senator the Bucks Antoine Winfield gets peace sign from fans after Super Bowl gesture. Hated or
love it. Let's see that.
Yeah.
Play that, Steve.
Mahomes has not thrown a pass to Kelsey yet, but Kelsey threw one to him, which fell incomplete. And now you want a deep ball? Here it is. To Hill for the touchdown. 75 yards. We'll see. 3rd and 8. It's like 3rd and 1 for this team. Down the field. Who else? Hill at the 10. Cut back. Touchdown. Touchdown and a leak.
One of those two, but now your Super Bowl is definitely on the line, Jim. You don't get this one. I'm calling it.
Mahomes, Chase running out of real estate, throws, incomplete, and Tampa Bay makes another stop.
He couldn't wait to do that.
He couldn't wait to do it.
Hey, that ref threw that flag about as far as Travis Kelce threw that flag. Hey, why is he not off the team after that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're not talking about Travis Kelce. We're talking about
okay.
right now.
Yeah, because the conversation definitely needs to shift towards the champions.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's all right. It's all right.
Touchdownless.
Laugh now, cry later.
Touchdownless, Steve.
Touchdown less.
You know what? No one could have ever guessed that they were going to not score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
But
I know who would have guessed.
Who?
Todd Bowles.
All right, moving on.
He getting mad again.
Transgender weightlifter Hubbard makes history at Olympics. Hate it or love it.
I mean,
We talked about this earlier this week.
No, we definitely talked about it because the African women that they decided to disqualify because they had normal levels of testosterone. So again, you flip this on its head. It is a white athlete, and they're making headlines in the Olympics.
Right.
So again, we talk about racial disparity within the Olympics. And it's good for the weightlifter. Nothing against the weightlifter. Being able to make history, being able to step out like that, especially in a lifestyle that is not approved of in mainstream society. So again, like it's cool for the weightlifter, but what does it say for the IOC?
SMH.
Now, injured British heptathlete refuses help, finishes race. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
Love it.
I love it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean,
let's see what happened.
Here we go.
Again, the times here equate to point values. Add the points from each of the 7 events to figure out gold, silver, and bronze. Erica Bogard, the 27-year-old from Memphis, Tennessee, an NCAA champion back at Mississippi State, off to a good start in lane 7. Now in 9, Venitz is moving. Schaefer running well on the inside, ran that tight turn beautifully. It's Venitz, though, closing hard at the end and continuing her phenomenal day 1. She'll likely be in medal positioning at the end of the first day of the heptathlon.
And Bill Johnson-Thompson pulling up as she came off the fence. Clearly that Achilles is not 100.
Yeah, so you saw her pull up, and of course she refused to help, and she was able to at least finish the race.
Yeah,
it's dope.
Nah, that's really dope. Just to be able to finish that.
Love to see it. Bill's threatening to move to Austin amid Buffalo Stadium talks. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
I love it. You love it, but it's a bully move. It's one of those, hey, please give us, well, not even please, you must give us more of our tax dollars or we'll go somewhere else and take theirs.
It sounds good. Buffalo Bills in Texas, the Texas Bills.
But then,
Texas Bills is on Sunday.
But then what do you do for the AFC East?
Hey,
makes no sense. But okay,
the Big 12 is losing teams.
He just want less competition over there. Okay.
I mean, that's
more competition for his Chiefs.
Yeah, they want
to move him to the NFC.
Yeah, they won't switch conferences, but
yeah, we go down to Texas.
You worried about old Josh Allen?
Nah, not at all. Ooh, they got to win first.
Yeah, they definitely
have to win first.
Yeah,
there's no lie about that. Okay. All right, we appreciate everybody that joined in on today's show. Watch this on our Facebook Live social media channels, and also listen to us on 100.1 FM. We're continuing our barber and beauty salon tour. Next week, you have to tune in to find out where we will be. Until next week, we are out of here. And also, real quick, before we get out of here, we want to send a quick shout out to Ishmael Wainwright, who
yes, sir.
got the 2-year deal with the Toronto Raptors, Kansas City native.
Good luck. Good luck.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live. The views and opinions expressed on the W radio show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.